So, welcome to the world of virtual media and recording audio and video on your computers. Today, I'm going to talk about four programs that I personally use a lot and I really enjoy. Recording audio and video can be very useful for making YouTube videos, sending videos to friends and family, or just personal entertainment. The programs I'll be talking about are Xbox Gamebar, OBS Studio, Mac Screen Capture, QuickTime for Mac, and also how to record on your Android and iOS if you don't already know. So Xbox Game Bar is the first one I'm going to start off with. This one I actually find is very interesting because this one is actually built into most Windows 10 and above, or sometimes below, devices. So it's with the press of two buttons, you can open this software and you can use it to record and screenshot your screen. And if not, you can also download it if it's not already on your computer. But to activate it, all you need to do is press the Windows key and the G key on your keyboard, and it should pop up and look like it does on this screenshot here. Uh, Xbox Game Bar I find is definitely worth using because if you're lucky, not lucky, but if you have it on your computer, there's no downloads once you get your computer. Uh, you should activate it the first time just by pressing those two buttons. It can be incredibly useful for recording your entire screen and adding your own audio or screenshotting certain tabs. I personally use it for recording short clips of my games, or recording or screenshotting things for schoolwork and personal work. You can also use it with an Xbox or Microsoft account to communicate with some friends and with messages or little voice chats, but that's a little more complicated. So how to use Xbox Game Bar is there's a little capture tab that pops up. So I'm going to pin mine just to show you guys what it looks like because mine's a little bit different and a little more up to date. So you can see I pinned it to my screen and you can just keep it there. But when you open the overlay, this tab will pop up. Don't worry about that far right button, the little broadcast button. Not everyone will have it if you unless you've linked an account to it. So don't worry about that one if it is there. But on the far left of the tab, there is a little camera button, and that is a screenshot button. Once you click this button, it'll screenshot whatever screen you have selected. If you have two monitors or one, personally I have two, so I had some problems screenshotting the wrong monitors. So yeah, if you use this button, it will screenshot your screen. This can also be binded to the Windows Alt and Print Screen button, but it's a little bit lengthy to press. But this button will capture the entire monitor. The next button is the second button from the left, and that is not always available on all computers, but it is a replay button. When you press this button, it will record whatever happened in the last 30 seconds or to 10 minutes, maximum 10 minutes, whatever you have it set to in your settings under captures and in gaming. So this can be found pretty easily, just like 2 clicks away, and you can change the settings of your recordings. So the next button is the middle button or the third button, which is the record button. So when you press this, it'll start a recording and it'll record whatever selected monitor you have for up to 2 hours. You can choose to include your microphone, which is the last button or the fourth button, or you can disable that if you do not want to have your microphone playing in the background of your recording. Just going to deactivate it. So where you can access your screen recordings is under the captures folder in your videos in your file explorer. This is also available on Mac, I believe, but I'm not too sure where to find the captures in Mac. When you open the search bar and open File Explorer, you can see there's the videos folder on the right side. Just like here, you can see my videos folder on the right side of my screen. And then I have the captures folder right here, and this will open up all of my screenshots and video recordings that I've made using Xbox Game Bar. The next one we're going to move on to is recording on Mac. So MacBooks also have a built-in recording software that is just as simple as Game Bar, and they also have a secondary one that is a little bit more complicated. So the first one is just a little bar that pops up when you press Shift, Command, and 5. It'll pop up in the bottom of your screen right above your app bar, and you can there's different options to select. You can drag a little area on your screen to record just that certain area, or you can record the entire screen, and this also allows you to screenshot as well. There's more stuff on this website here. I personally don't own a Mac, so I can't do live testing of it or any personal experience with it. But this website is very, very good. So the next one is QuickTime. This is also a built-in software to most Apple devices. If you search QuickTime in your apps, it should pop up. And this one is half screen recording and half media player. So it is very, very useful and is used a lot for most for most Apple machines. But unfortunately, it is not available on Windows. There is a version of it available, but it is very, very outdated and doesn't work properly. So there are two ways to screen record on QuickTime. The first is a way to press record and click on the screen to record the entire display, and then press the record button again to stop the recording. The second way is to press the record button and then click and drag a little area on your screen to record just that area on the monitor. And then again, press the record button to stop the recording. Once the recording has been stopped, QuickTime Player will open with the video you just recorded, and you can trim it and edit it to your liking. The next program we're going to move on to is OBS Studio. It's probably the most complicated system out of the four computer recording systems, but it is very, very useful and can be used to make some really interesting content like YouTube videos, podcasts, or any creative video ideas you can come up with. So OBS Studio has a wide variety to make your videos more eye-catching and more interesting. It's completely free and it doesn't take up a lot of memory, and it only needs about 2 GB of memory RAM to use. So it's not that big. And it's also available on Windows, Linux, and Mac. So you can download OBS Studio on obsproject.com. It's completely free, like I said. And when you search OBS in the Google bar or wherever, Bing, Firefox, whatever, there are two options that come up. There's Firefox Studio, so OBS Studio, and Streamlabs OBS. The Streamlabs OBS one is more for live broadcasting to third-party websites. I don't recommend it. It's a lot more complicated. But there's that one, and then there's OBS Studio. I recommend that one, the OBS Studio. So once you've downloaded the program with whatever system you have, being Linux, Windows, or Mac, it'll pop up in your downloads with the installer. You just open the installer, follow the instructions, and it'll either download to your downloads folder or it'll download to your programs folder, which can be found in the This PC tab in your File Explorer. So once you've installed it, it should open a shortcut on your desktop that you can use to open it. And I believe that the first time you open it, it'll run an update or two, just because it needs to warm up to your computer, but then it should be good to go. So once you open OBS Studio, it does look a little bit complicated, but the only areas I will get you to focus on are the sources, the volume, and the big viewport in the middle of the application. Once you get comfortable with the primary functions, you can start exploring the more complicated features if you'd like. But the first part I'm going to focus on is the sources. So the source window in the bottom of the OBS is where you'll put your sources for recording or capturing a certain part of your screen. So there's two main sources I recommend. There is the window capture, which will only select a certain window that you have open on your computer and not just your entire screen. So if you have Google open, it'll only record the Google window. Or you can do the display capture, which will record your entire monitor and whatever is put on that monitor. So if I have like 3 tabs of Google open, it'll show whatever one I have open whenever I switch between them. But if I only select one of them, it'll only show that one and it won't change at all. So once you have whatever you want selected, you just click on it, you follow the instructions, you select what window or what display you'd like to choose, and it'll pop up in the sources, and then it'll also pop up in the viewport, and you can resize it to whatever size you'd like. You can also put images on top of your recordings, can be found in the image button just right here. And you can select an image from your File Explorer, and you can import that and resize that as well on your display. So the how to record section is a little part on the right side of the bottom. and there are multiple different selections. So it's just, we're gonna ignore this start streaming one again because we're not gonna be live broadcasting at all. But the start recording button is the third button, or I guess second button actually. And it'll record whatever scene you have selected. So it'll have whatever one you have, like your display capture or your window capture on. It'll only record that one until you stop the recording again. The one below that is the replay buffer, which is very similar to the replay one on the Xbox Gamebar. That'll record, if you have that activated, it'll record whatever happened in the past, I believe it's 30 seconds to 10 minutes. And there's a little save button beside that to save that recording. And then the one below that is the start virtual camera. This feature is actually really cool, and it's brand new to the OBS Studio software. It is a very cool feature that allows you to share your screen or on your webcam. So instead of having screen share, some software with videos doesn't have screen share in it. So you are able to make your camera your screen. You can see I'm in a Discord call, and I have my camera on, and my camera is actually my screen. For some reason, Discord actually mirrors it, so it's backwards on my camera, but it does show up in the drop down in the bottom left there. You can see I have my face cams, and then I have OBS virtual camera, which is basically the option for that. So the next two things are the studio mode and the settings. I don't recommend using the studio mode. It is a more complicated way of editing your video or you're recording mid session. So if you want to add something, you can add it in and then transition to the new version. And it's a little more confusing and a lot more complicated. I personally don't use this whatsoever. I find it's just over the top. But it is it's very easy to use once you get used to it, but I don't recommend it. So the last button is the settings button, or the second last, and then the exit button below that. So I will walk you through these settings and what the best ones to use. So once you open the settings, there will be a general tab. I don't recommend going through the general tab because personally, I don't understand what any of it does, and it might mess up your recordings or your files. But I'm going to direct you to the videos tab, which is on the left side, and it's the third from the bottom. And in this tab, you can see at the bottom here that there is 4 different settings, not a lot for video, but there are 4 settings. 2 of them are to change the resolution scale of your video. So whatever your monitor's scale is, you can find that in the settings. And I recommend changing it to that so there's more pixels in the screen, so it looks a lot better. And then you can also change the frames per second, or FPS, which makes your video run a lot smoother and look a lot nicer. It's not as important for like videos like this. Like if I was recording my presentation, it's not as important because there's no like large movement or anything like that. And the higher the frames, the bigger the file size is. So you can turn down the frames if you don't want a super big file when you're recording a video. The next settings are the audio settings. There are a lot of settings in here, but I personally recommend looking at the global audio settings to change your microphone input and what you want to hear in your video. So the desktop audio is what you hear. So if you're using headphones or earbuds or speaker on your computer, you can change it to that output, and that will record the audio of whatever you're hearing. So I changed it to my headphones. You see I have my headphone audio in the desktop audio. So if I recorded right now, I'd hear what I hear in my headphones in the video. And then you can also change your microphone as well. If you do have a microphone on your headphones or earbuds, or have a microphone like I have here, I can't show it, it's too wire's too short. We can add that to I recommend the first audio track, which is the mic and auxiliary audio with no number. I have mine on the default, so it just resets from whatever I have as my main microphone. So next we're going to move on to how to record on your phone. A lot of people actually don't know that most phones nowadays have built-in recording systems. So a lot of them a lot of times you'd have to download a secondhand recording software off the App Store, and a lot of times those will actually save your videos to their cloud, and they'll use your videos in promotion or um, ads for other companies, which is legal somehow. But how to record on a Apple smartphone or tablet is with the control center. You just swipe up from the bottom of your phone, and this little control center will pop up. And that little button at the bottom there with the two circles is the recording button. So once you press that, it'll start the recording. You swipe down and you record whatever you'd like. Swipe it back up, press it again, and it'll save the recording in your Photos app. So how to record on Android devices is actually very similar. On most Android devices, there's a swipe down, which shows a bunch of settings. And in those settings is a screen record option. And it's very similar to the Android one, but this one actually has a countdown, I believe. So you press it and there's a 3-second countdown and then it starts, or you can skip the countdown if you'd like. And it'll also save in a screen recording folder in your Photos app. But when this comes up, there are actually 3 options. So there's 3 sound options to record. There's no sound, which will completely mute your video. You won't hear anything after the recording is done. So it'll be completely silent and there's nothing you can hear in it. There is media sounds, which will only record what your phone is outputting. So if you're watching a video, it'll only give the audio of that video. It won't give your microphone or anything. But there is also media sounds and microphone. And this allows you to record the media sounds, so like a video or a game, and the microphone on your phone. But sometimes if your microphone is very sensitive, it'll pick up the sounds of fans or cars or whatever is around you. So I do recommend using a headphone or earbud like microphone for the best sound quality. So I'm gonna give you guys a live demo of both OBS and Gamebar. So you see I have my OBS open. If I add a window capture, where is this? Window capture. So if I add a window capture here, there's existing ones which will be set to whatever you had before. You don't need to worry about adding more, but it's all good. And then you can change whatever you'd like. So I can put on the slideshow if I'd like, because it's on Google, or I can put on the meeting control for Zoom, and this will add your window to your viewport there. You can also click this I button and it'll turn it off. And so you can have only one going at a time, or you can have one or the other, or both at the same time. You can also resize this one here, and I could have it over top, and I can move it around wherever I'd like and resize it. So it's pretty useful. And I do recommend just using these two, the display capture and the window capture. If you have more than one monitor, you can also change the monitor you have on. So I personally have 2 monitors on my computer. So I have a bigger one in front of me and my laptop monitor beside me. So I can change between them whenever I'd like, but I usually keep it on the main monitor. So that's OBS. It's a little more complicated, but it's pretty easy to use. Once you just watch there's some tutorials you can use as well. But this is the Gamebar I showed you guys earlier that you can pin it to your screen. But when you open it, there are other widgets that come with it, and I don't recommend using them just because some of them are for social things for your friends and your Xbox stuff if you logged into an account. But this one here is all you need to worry about. Once you've recorded something or taken a screenshot, you can either find it in the captures folder on your videos folder in your file explorer, or you can click this button that brings up all of your recordings and you can edit them. You can open the file location, delete them, and I guess share to Twitter. I guess I have my Twitter linked, but you can just see everything you have here and it'll all pop up. But and then you can also, there's also some cool things with this. You can also fix your audio. So if you have some more than one audio device, you can change the audio input. And you can also change the volume of most of the apps that are open in your computer. So that's pretty much all of Gamebar and OBS Studio. So there's links. I believe you guys get a copy of the presentation. There are links here that'll give you guys more information, the download tutorials, and just some tutorials that give you all the information you need, and some that I couldn't provide. So just a refresher, Gamebar should be built into your computer, so your Windows computer. Max Screen Record and QuickTime should also be built in, but QuickTime can be found by searching your apps. And then OBS Studio is a little more professional, but can be good for making professional YouTube videos or personal videos. And I believe that is all.